What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down this shoulder dip technique you can use off the line of scrimmage on a release, and how you guys can use this to get some separation and be able to restack a DB and just widen the gap between you and the DB, and how to make a DB pay off the line when he's maybe not as disciplined, okay? And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get faster, check out that link in the description that says 28-day speed training program. Guys, it's a full 28-day training program on my site that we're offering to help you guys get faster, be a more explosive receiver. All right, let's get started with this breakdown. So this shoulder dip here by DeAndre Hopkins is the first one we're going to look at. Now, this is one off of a release rather than straight off the line. After this, we're going to talk about one that you can use straight off the line and just dip to get inside leverage and just to get back over the top of the DB or across his face. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what actually happens when you execute the shoulder dip and why it's important to work when we restack, right? So now, this release here you see gives him this kind of split release, right? So he's kind of trying to make this DB freeze, right? He's trying to freeze him and then leave him. So we'll watch it full speed again. So we freeze him and then leave him. We dip that shoulder. I work back over the top, and then I'm able to make this catch. So especially when we got a DB who we know is going to throw hands, right? We know he's going to be physical. If we could get him to lean on this outside leg, right? If I could freeze him and get him to stop his feet. If you get him in his base to be too wide and you could get his feet to stop, all I got to make sure that I'm able to do is dip this shoulder and I can avoid this contact, right? Because if we dip this shoulder and his feet are stuck in the mud like this, his hips will lock if he doesn't get hands, right? So I got to make sure that I keep a good pad level and I dip my left shoulder to take an inside release, right? I like this shoulder dip mainly on an inside release because you're ripping almost underneath, right? Now, another way you could do this is maybe you give him this shake right here, you give him this split, and you swat with your right hand, and then you dip your left shoulder underneath. So you just rip right underneath him, work to restack, and then break this thing off whichever direction, right? So this is a way you can use this shoulder dip technique. You use a release first, you freeze him, and then you leave him. You dip that shoulder, then we work back over the top. I restack him, break this thing off, and then get over the middle. It's a great route here by Hopkins. Let's watch it again full speed. So we freeze him, dip the shoulder, work back over the top, and then get back over the middle, create some separation. Freeze him, and then leave him. Dipping that shoulder is what's most important on this. So now we're going to talk about a situation where a DB's not that disciplined, right? In man coverage, they should be looking at you, right? So if we come up to the line of scrimmage here, and we see this DB looking at the ball, we can assume that he's going to be trying to get real physical off the line of scrimmage, right? He's looking at the ball. He's trying to time that snap count. He's going to see that ball snap, and then he's going to try to jam us and try to choke us off the line of scrimmage. So when you're a size in this case, shoulder dip is a great way to use your size to your advantage, right? You can get low. You can avoid that contact. So we'll watch it full speed, just the release portion. He tries to jam, tries to get real physical, and then we just slip right underneath him, right? So that's what we got to understand. Anytime a DB tries to get real physical off the line of scrimmage and try to choke us or try to jam us, they're losing their base, right? When they come at us and they try to get real physical off the line of scrimmage, they lose their base. Now, when he's got his eyes to the backfield, the reason why his eyes are on you, and this is why, sometimes you see it 7-on-7, 1-on-1s, why it's complete crap, is because guys will look at you and they know the snap count's going to be on 1 because you're not trying to draw the defensive line off sides. You're not trying to get somebody to jump. So they know 7-on-7, 1-on-1s, it's on 1 every single time. So they're just going to try to choke you and jam you off the line. That's what everybody's so worried about. That's what I get so many questions about is, how do I beat a more physical guy? But you guys aren't preparing for an actual situation, right? The actual situation is he's going to be playing man coverage based off you because he's got to react off of you. He's not going to react off of the quarterback saying go, right? It's just a mindset shift when you're playing in t-shirt and shorts, right? And that's why guys, you see it all the time, get jammed. Now in this situation here, when you see a guy try to get real physical and he's reacting off the ball, he's not looking at you. I got to give him something quick because he's not going to be able to react as fast. Like try looking like you turn your head away, like you guys probably all done that drill where you're like turn around and you work on your hands, like that turnaround drill where your eyes are, where you're turned your back to the guy throwing you the ball. Then he says turn, you got to react to the ball. It's a lot harder catching that thing than it is if you're just staring at it, right? So it's the same idea. It's a lot harder to get his eyes on your hips and get his eyes on that number and try to get physical with his hands if he's looking in this backfield. And he's looking in that backfield. So now his eyes drop and I give him something quick. I dip my outside shoulder and I dip right underneath this strong arm, right underneath his right arm here because I want to get an inside release. So what arm do I have to beat? I know I just got to beat that right arm, and then I work and I slip underneath. But you guys see when they do this, you should almost think of it like there's a towel on the ground right here, and you want to rip underneath and pick up that towel. I dip my shoulder, I want to rip underneath, I want to pick up that towel, and I want to push vertical to get over the top of him. And when you got speed like Ross, it is very hard to chase you across the field when you could create separation off the line like he did right here. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So dip that shoulder right underneath. Let's work back over the middle and make sure we're fast across. It's a great job here by John Ross. Okay, so now this is going to be kind of tough to see, but we're going to break it down in slow-mo. What can happen when you actually work to restack off of this shoulder dip, okay? So now this is the whole point of the shoulder dip in the first place, right? So we're going to talk about restack, how you can make a move at the top of the route, how you can sell this move at the top of the route off of this. So what he does here, and it comes up kind of quick, he kind of gives this jab to the outside, right? And again, when we want to work this shoulder dip, right? We want to dip with my outside arm because I want to use this to get leverage on the inside, work back to the top, or just work back underneath here, maybe get a little lean and break this thing off on a dig, post, whatever it is, right? In this case, we want to rip underneath, work to restack, push vertical, head fake, and go post, right? So he gives him this kind of wide step out to the outside. Now, when he goes back to the underneath here, I want you to see, if we could get this DB just to stop his feet a little bit with whatever release I decide to use, I go in, out, or maybe I go wide step, maybe I go triple step to the outside, something to get him to sit on his outside foot, and then I could try to get him to stop his feet. If I keep a good pad level like he does right here, good pad level, and I rip underneath this arm, it's really hard to get hands and really hard to be physical. So if I dip that shoulder and I keep a good pad level and I stay running, that makes it a lot easier to restack him and to get back over the top. Now, the whole point of this restack is so I could give him a move or get him to bite, right? That's the whole point. That's why everybody says, oh, you got to restack, you got to restack. If you restack and don't give a move, there's really no point of it, right? So he restacks, he gives him this head fake to the outside here, head fake to that post, gets him to bite, gets him to fall, and then I'm able to create some separation and go. But none of that happens, fellas, none of that happens if we don't give him a split or we don't give him a triple move or double up, whatever, to the outside, get him to freeze, and I keep a good pad level forward. I rip my outside shoulder, so in this case it would be his left shoulder, and I'm always running to work back over the top, give him a head fake. I keep the same depth, I keep the same stride on this route. That's a great route here. Let's watch this thing full speed again one more time. So he's coming off here, jab, rip underneath, stick to the outside, get a head and shoulder fake, get into bite, and then I create a lot of separation by using that move. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions, please leave those in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible, guys. And if you want to get faster, check out that link in the description that says Speed Workout Plan. I'll see you guys next time.